everybody? Welcome to Investing Bros. Oh, I forgot to mute my YouTube, so I'm hearing it in the echo. What's going on, guys? So excited to have you guys here this morning. We got a big show lined up for you guys today because we did have some news coming out yesterday late that the SEC is not yet done with Ripple and the XRP, but we will explain what went down there because maybe you might have been confused about some of the details. We're going to break it all down in this video later on, so make sure you stick around for that. Also this morning, breaking, our CPI numbers came out, our inflation came out, and we're going to cover those numbers. Spoiler, though, it's kind of a nothing burger, but we're going to look at that here in just a couple of minutes. Also, we're going to be talking even more about the Bitcoin ETFs because even though there's nothing breaking in new information happening there, we are starting to see some pieces fall together that could be the reason why those ETFs continue to be a catalyst for an explosive bull market coming your way next year. Make sure, though, you go ahead and smash that like button. If you are new here, subscribe, because guess what? We just did too, guys. We just topped 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to every single last one of you who are subscribed. But now it's time to turn our attention to 5K. We need your help. Hit subscribe and smash the like in every single video. I'm joined this morning by none other than the Florida man, Mr. T. Shroom. Shroomy, how we feeling today in 4K?
Oh, man, we're feeling good, Tim. Oh, 4K, baby. We've got it going. We're rocking. And, oh, man, I am very appreciative to you guys, to everybody who contributed to getting us to 4K. 4,000. Man, I never thought I would make it to this age. I didn't know that this is how it worked, but here we are, 4,000 years old. I might be the oldest person ever. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
What, you're muting me now? Okay, wow. The power is just going to your head. Why does your side of the screen get confetti and celebrations and mine gets nothing?
You're the sad side. You're the all business, and the business is subscriptions.
Oh, nice.
As you can see, we're very efficient at getting them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Before, I know you're going to have a quote of the day, but T-Shroom, did you know that a very special someone wanted to celebrate with us that we hit 4K? I got to find it, though, because I don't know where it just went. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Go to my screen real quick, guys. Look.
What?
We have a very special celebrity celebrating with us this morning. CZ decided to take this very special picture this morning just for Investing Bros for hitting 4,000. And there we go. We get the blowhorns. T-Shroom, do you have a quote of the day to go along with this celebratory day?
Yes, and it's in English. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, I don't know who Gene Shepard is. He looks very old. Looks from a long time ago, so he could be representing something bad, but I don't know. Can you imagine 4,000 years passing and you're not even a memory? Think about it, friends. It's not just a possibility. It's a certainty. That was the only quote I could find with 4,000 in it, which is very, very depressing. But hey, sometimes you just got to be faced with the facts.
It is what it is. Good quote of the day, guys. Thank you again to every single one of you who are subscribed. We could not have done this without you because I don't have 4,000 fake accounts to go hit subscribe with.
Yeah, and I only have 3,000.
Yeah. So if you do have 4,000 accounts that you can subscribe with, let's get to 8,000 here very quickly, guys. But no, seriously, I am really excited, guys. It took a little longer than we wanted, but we are at 4,000 now. It is time to turn our attention to 5K because, I still believe by the end of this year, we still have a lot of August left, and then we have 4 more months, right? September, October, November, December. Yeah, look, Tim can count. We still have 4.5 more months that I do believe we could easily get to at least 6K, but I'm fingers crossed hoping for 7K. I think that we can do it, but we need your guys' help. Before we get in here, we're going to get into a show stuff, but I don't know if we've talked to you guys about this. We want you guys to know how amazing you are as a community. Just so you even know, it's so evident that people even around the HIT network talk about how great the Investing Bros community is. Whenever, for example, T-Shroom, Piper, or myself are over on Around the Blockchain, you guys flood those comments. It gets amazingly ridiculous how much love you guys show us. We might only be 4,000 strong, but those 4,000 are going to take out armies. And just watch what happens when Investing Bros gets to 100K, how crazy this will be. So again, love you guys so much. Speaking of you guys, though, let's get into reading some names here in chat before we jump into the news. Our first commenter of the day was Mr. Amello Fellow. Thank you once again, Amello. You have always been one of the top guys in chat. And it's good to see you up top. Right behind him was Mike Play. Mike Play, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mr. J is here in chat as well. Eric Wallen is here. Gia S, which speaking of Gia S, you guys know she is now a blue wrenched mod. Congratulations to Gia S. So happy to have you in here. With great power comes great responsibility. So, looking forward to seeing your mod work, Gia. Crux of Crypto is also here this morning. Piper is here this morning. Brian D is here. Let's see. Justin Eubanks. Mike Play again. Crypto Gopher is here. Good morning, Crypto Gopher. Who else do we have here this morning? Average Crypto Joe is here. Joe Nickel is here. Yair Navarro is here. Let's see. Let's get a couple more, and then we're going to get into some of this great crypto stuff. It's me, a Crypto Mario is here. Prita Provost is here. Crypto Trades is here. Danny G is here. And let's get two more, and then we're going to move on. Boom, boom. A lot of the same names. Here we go. Bedridden with the Blue Wrench is in chat. And the last name, the final name I'm reading this morning, ICP Profits, because I read P before profits. I see profits is here this morning. Guys, if I did not read your name, I think there's a lot more of you in here. It is not because I don't love you. It is just time to go ahead and get into the show. But first, I want you to know we have some great stories lined up for you today. I didn't even get to tease all of them yet, but we're also going to try to be engaging with you guys a lot more. So continuing throughout the show, I'm going to try to do a good job today of when I do the TA or I'm doing other things, I'm watching chat. So if there's super chats or if you guys are asking good, intriguing questions about the topics we're discussing, we're going to engage with you. But even at the end of the show, hopefully we have some time to open it up for some Q&A. But with that said, let's get into our economic outlook of the day. T-Shroom, go ahead and go to the screen. We referenced this in the intro, but we did get inflation numbers, both core inflation and regular inflation, both month over month and year over year. Let's break this down, because right now the markets are kind of telling us the story. This was a little bit of a nothing burger. Core inflation is actually slightly down from the previous and lower than the consensus and forecast. We were expecting to stay at 4.8, just like we were last month. Well, guess what, guys? We came in at 4.7 year over year. We did stay right at 0.2 over month. So that's about equal. Again, not really much of anything there. It's a little bit of a nothing burger. But then we come down into regular inflation rate. This is the one that a lot of people are looking at this morning. You're going to see it all over headlines. We came in at 3.2. Now, it is a nothing burger. I do want to point out, though, the previous month, this is year over year, previous one was at 3%. That means it slightly did tick up, but we're between the consensus and forecast. I did see on Twitter, saw multiple accounts saying, oh, we came in lower than expected. They must have been looking at the consensus, but our forecast was 3.1. We ended up coming in at those levels. I will say a lot of people hold a lot of weight in the Cleveland Fed prediction, and they were predicting we were going to be back up to 4%. So if that was the prediction everyone was waiting for, yes, we're coming in lower than expectation, but not necessarily more so than what we're seeing here on tradingeconomics.com. Again, month over month coming in at 0.2, kind of staying the exact same here, but 3.2, a slight tick up since last month, but in the year over year, but still kind of coming in exactly where we expected, between that 0.3, 3.3 and 3.1. So it's going to be interesting to see what we have later today when Harker and Bostic take stages to talk a little bit more about what the Fed is thinking with these recent inflation numbers. So definitely want to talk about that some tomorrow. By the way, guys, T-Shroom out tomorrow. He has decided to take a vacation because he thinks he's earned it. And Piper is coming in to host the show with me. So definitely you want to be here. We'll break down this and more. But let's go back to the screen.
T-Shroom, where are you going on vacation to?
Nobody cares.
South Florida.
Okay.
Jeez. It's a very affordable vacation for me because I already live in Florida.
Listen, we get to 4K and the show just goes off the rails. We got to get back to the economic outlook. Tomorrow, we're getting our GDP growth for our great British friends. So if you are from England, put a 1 in chat. If you are British. I was to say, if you're excited, I don't think anyone's excited. We'll see how this ends up going. We'll cover that more tomorrow. Let's move on and look at some liquidations here today. Let's refresh our page. We're on the 1 hour. We've seen some short liquidations within the last hour, but price is kind of hovering right there at 29.5. Over the last 24 hours, there were more long liquidations. You guys can see in the last 24 hours, because we did rally up above 30K yesterday, we have come back down to earth, back down to mid 29,000s. 13 million dollars in long liquidations happened yesterday compared to only 2 million short liquidations. So overwhelmingly a bearish day for Bitcoin. XRP had 2.2 million long shorted. Ethereum had 2.3 million. Aptos, of course, Aptos had a decent day the previous day, but it had 1.7 long liquidations there as well. Optimism. This is one, I don't know how much we're going to talk about it throughout the rest of the show, so I definitely want to talk about it now. I guess we're going to reference it because it's going to come back up when we talk about Coinbase. But it's in the red today, even though that's a green box. It's in the red today because of that launch of Base. Guys, optimism. I'm not saying run for the hills and sell all your optimism and it's never, it's down to zero, but that is a blow to optimism to have Base coming in to compete for some of those options as a layer 2 for Ethereum. So it's one of those things. Keep your eyes definitely on that. Overwhelmingly, we're going to see a lot of things in the red today, but let's keep moving on into our Trueflation. Let's update the page. Yesterday, 2.37. Today, 2.37. So Trueflation definitely ticking to the upside. Whatever you believe about inflation, Trueflation is kind of giving us a truer picture of, yeah, guys, inflation's ticking slightly up today. Let's see here. Mellofellow says, Tim's got to bring the same no-nonsense attitude on Ben's stream yesterday to this one. That's right. No nonsense. And T Shroom deciding to just go back and forth to Brocam and Screen and
I
talk
would
about
never
vacations that
do
nobody
that,
cares
Tim.
about.
I would never do that.
We're getting into some nonsense, and it's time to keep moving on here. Let's look at our CME futures this morning. Come on now, Paige. All right, we're just going to refresh and we're going to rework this. All right, so September, there's not a huge change here because we already kind of knew that we're going to get a pause here in September unless something major changes. Well, whatever happened this morning ticked us up from about 84% to 90% sure that we're going to get a pause. No change here either because we're still predicting the first rate cut will come in March of this year. 40% predicting that should happen. I do think that this is a little higher than it was yesterday. The prediction of staying paused in March. The prediction of a 50 basis point cut is a little bit lower here, but as a whole, we're still on track. The thought is we pause the rest of this year and then we start cutting rates in March. Could be very interesting. Let's take a look, refresh our Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Once again, not knowing really what to do because despite the fact the price went down, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index went back up. So it's a little bit kind of weird right now. Not reading too much into it because it's sitting squarely in the neutral, which means this is very squarely could go up, could go down territory where it comes to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. But let's take a look at our market open this morning, brought to you guys by Coin Market Cap. A lot of red here in the top 10. USDC coin, you don't count. You're a stable coin. The rest of them, not necessarily severely. Bitcoin down 1.5%. So for Bitcoin, that's kind of decent. BNB down 1.5%. XRP, the big one, down 3%. We're going to talk XRP, guys. Don't necessarily read too much into this because the news we got from XRP is not as negative as some people want it to be, but it is possibly the reason why, with confusion out there, people were selling XRP or shorting XRP, and it is down the most significant amount in the top 10. Does anyone in the top 20 end up beating it? No, they do not. XRP, the biggest loser of the top 20 coins within the last 24 hours. But let's get positive here. What were the gainers over the last 24 hours? XDC is back up after having a red day yesterday. It is now up 8.11%. How about XDC? Kind of the only one being explosive today. We do have some others like Thorchain. Sheeb is up 3% again. Rocket Pool Maker. They have some green days, but nothing necessarily major. I guarantee you we're going to see some bigger losers when we click this button once again. Let's look at those losers. Well, there's more of them with more significant moves, but nothing major. Aptos, the biggest loser at 6%. Guess who's in second place, guys? Optimism. Just got to believe that has to do with the base news. Again, we'll cover that later on in the show. H-bar had been out on a little bit of a run here recently, so it kind of makes sense that it's going to be on one of the bigger losers. It's very common, everybody, when you have a good run and you've had consecutive green days, you can only keep up those green days for so long, but hopefully it's simply a bump in the road rather than a strong rejection. We might do some H-bar TA because I think we were going to try to do it yesterday, but of course, Mim was on the show and that was awesome. Go back and watch that if you missed it. Phenomenal interview we had with Magic Internet Money. But guys, it is now time to go ahead and take a look at our charts today. Brought to you, of course, as always, by Chart Prime, the best indicators in the space. You don't want to miss it. If you don't have Chart Prime, you're really missing out. Go sign up with our link down below. I think I saw something yesterday. Also, there's a special deal right now going on. I got to talk to my reps over there. Got to talk to Piper. I think there's some sort of special deal, but they definitely have a lot of updates. So if you do have Chart Prime, make sure you guys go in and cancel your indicators and get them back up there because they're are some updates coming on. You're going to see a couple of those updates here as we do some TA, but special thank you and shout out to Chart Prime. You guys know we love them. We're going to kind of do some quicker TA today, guys, and get into some community and then stories, but we're probably going to be coming back to some of the charts. So let's start with Bitcoin here, guys. Bitcoin, after rallying back up to 30,200, did come back down here. We did touch back to 29,370 last night. Now, some of you, I don't know if anyone actually knows this because I didn't get to do TA yesterday, but when we started to rally the day before, I went ahead and put this line right here. We did briefly talk about it. Mim talked about it yesterday, but I put this little T box right here at 30,400. Guys, right now I'm leaning bullish in the short term for the next couple of weeks. You guys know that I'm expecting that we're going to be retesting this blue line. The question is all the way down to 28,000. Are we going to test it somewhere in the middle of this box? Are we just going to find a triple bottom here around 28,600 and come test it over here, maybe closer towards August 24th or so? Either way, I still believe that we are retesting this blue line at some point, and that means we're moving kind of boring and sideways down to the downside. But this T box, the reason this is up here, I've dragged it across. I do believe the confirmation, if you guys are wondering, hey, what can we expect to be maybe a shift in this kind of trend to move us back bullish? I think having a candle close above 30,478 is the level we're kind of watching right now to say that is the change back into short-term bullish price action. Let's take a look here at some of these indicators, though, we have with Chart Prime. Our oscillators, you guys know we love them. Again, we have a lot of things kind of showing that this was a good rejection. Of course, on the 4-hour chart, overbought flashes, red reversal flashes. We got overextended on the RSI. You guys can see we came all the way up towards 90. I always forget this. I'm just going to call it a peak seeker, but it has a special name. But we had a flash there. You guys can see these have been absolutely lethal here on the on trading Bitcoin. So had a flash there. If I bring up Market Oracle as well, you guys are going to see we got a 4-hour reversal. By the way, we haven't seen a bearish reversal. And the last one didn't end up panning out. It ended up being a false flag, because you guys can also see it was matched with, no other really confluence saying that had to be the rejection. But in this case, guys, this reversal pairing with overbought and red reversal flags and peak seekers, and we're overextended on RSI, that is a, what is a quadfecta, a fourfecta? I don't know what the correct name for that is, of confluence saying it was time to go ahead and top out. And guess what, guys? Even though technically we beat this little high here the other day, I'm going to more say that this is more of a wave of that was a high, these are highs, and then this is another lower high. We are setting a downtrend right now. All the more reason to expect we are going to continue to the downside. Now, what we're kind of hovering on right now, I've said this wrong. I keep calling this dynamic reactor because you guys know the old Chart Prime, this was the dynamic reactor. To be fair, it's actually called the volume flex reactor. If you guys have Chart Prime and you're coming in here, this is my personal opinion. And guess what? I get to give you my personal opinion. Maybe you're going to find some other technical analyst who uses Chart Prime who disagrees with me, but I find the flex volume reactor way closer and more helpful than what is currently listed as dynamic reactor. No offense to what is currently dynamic reactor. It's still a good tool, but to me, I'll go and show you why I like it the best. I want you guys to see when we go back out to the daily chart here, this is what the dynamic reactor is now going to say. Let's come on all the way out. Look at some of these levels. We do have some rejections here, but you guys are going to see this dynamic reactor. The cool thing about it is it spreads out due to volume. It gets really, small if there's not a lot of volume happening. But you guys can see a lot of wicks and candles kind of breaking through. It is acting as somewhat resistance and support, but it's not necessarily as strong. When I change it, though, however, and I come back over to volume flex reactor, look at how good this volume flex reactor has been. Resistance, almost perfect support levels multiple times. Another reason why I kind of believe 28,000, maybe 28.3 or so. You guys can see as we kind of zoom in here on the daily chart, this volume reactor is kind of coming up here. Are we going to get a fall and kind of meet it somewhere around 28.3 or so on this blue line? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me know in chat if you use Chart Prime. Do you guys actually like using the dynamic reactor or this volume flex reactor? I'm interested what you guys think. But let's keep looking at some other indicators here. We do have our multi-time frame support and resistance levels here right below us. Keep an eye out for 29.3. Could be maybe some small support, some hesitation right there. I want to go down to lower charts, though, down all the way to the 1 hour chart and see if there's anything out. Because what I kind of have my settings on today, I came into my local mode and I want charts. So this is whatever chart I'm looking at right now. I'm on the 1 hour, so I'm going to get the 1 hour numbers in green. If I went to the 4 hour chart, I get the 4, but I also want to see the 12 hour and 1 daily. But let's see what we have right here. You do see down, if we keep dropping, yes, the 12 hour has some strong support. We did just bounce off of even here not too long ago, but keep your eyes on the 1 hour shorter time frame support level, 29.1 down here towards 28.8. So that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on there. And of course, you guys know I've been saying over and over again, still watching right here. Last thing I want to even take a look at here. If you upload to Market Dynamics Pro, you can change what settings you have. Let's go out to the 4 hour chart here and take a look at our predictive ranges. You guys see we have predictive ranges. This bottom gold band on the 4 hour coming in at 28,200, right there close to that 28.3, and right between that and the 28,000 even. So we rejected here off of this higher blue band, 30,000. Didn't quite touch it, but got super close. Watch for potentially now. We're waiting over the next couple of days, maybe next couple of weeks, to kind of move down here closer towards this bottom gold band before we either decide, are we going to get this strong support or are we coming back down to lower levels? I do believe if you go to the daily chart, is it the daily chart? No, let's go back to the 1 hour chart. I was looking at this morning, our 1 hour chart. Which chart? I don't remember which chart I was looking at this morning. I was definitely looking. We have some strong, maybe it was 4 hour. Let's go back to 4 hour real quick. I don't know. Our purple's coming in here a little bit lower, just below 20, just at 24,000. We do have this kind of more silver grayish one coming out 26,000. Keep your eyes on those levels. But first, watching that 28.2, we are coming in really, really strong levels there. I do believe that level is going to be touched very, very soon. I spent probably a little bit longer on Bitcoin than I wanted to. What time do I have? Let's cover one other coin. I'm not going to do XRP, guys. We're going to do XRP conversation here in just a couple of minutes. And when I do that, we're going to come back to the XRP chart. So let's go look at HBAR because we did want to cover this the other day, but we did not get a chance to. Now, like we said, it's retracing a little bit this morning. Don't freak out. It is making its way out. One of the reasons why is because it just broke bullish out of a falling wedge pattern. You guys know that falling wedge patterns usually break to the upside. You guys can see right here, it's a very classic example of a 1, 2, 3, 4. We got this fifth wave, rode it a little bit, and then we broke out here. So what we're doing here is we're taking the break, the opening of this falling wedge pattern. I always like to stay conservative. You're going to see some people kind of go up to this peak right here. I'm going to kind of keep it right there at that level. You move this over. It used to be when we broke it over here, you guys see this blue line. I drew that before. Let's go ahead and drop that down because now we're going to move it down to where the actual breakout happened. And this could see HBAR in the next little bit make a rally. Now, we might come down first. We always could come back down and retest this level. So don't think that we have to shoot straight up here to about 7.9 cents, but I do believe that's a level to keep your eye on if we continue to see some bullish price action coming in here on HBAR. Yeah, let's make sure. I told T-Shroom, if you guys text me anything of importance, he's going to text me because I want to read your chats even though I'm doing TA here. Definitely keep your eyes, though, on 7.9. So let's take a look at the oscillators here. Let's take a look at what is happening. Similar to Bitcoin, we are seeing a lot of overbought peak seekers, bearish divergence coming in. We had a peak seeker way back here that got ignored, though. Well, it went down. The price went down, but then it quickly rebounded and went back to the upside. I think that HBAR could be one of the coins that you're seeing some of this eye candy up top of what I call Christmas tree decorations that we could ignore. You definitely want to pay attention to what Bitcoin is doing. A lot of coins follow Bitcoin, but as we're kind of approaching back down towards these mid levels on the RSI And on the chart prime oscillator, you're starting to potentially look for some support coming in. Let's even take a look at the hourly chart. You guys can see, yeah, sure enough, hourly chart getting super low, getting some reversals, bullish divergence on the hourly chart, green reversal, triangle, RSI dropped low all the way down to 9. So all of these kind of things are coming back in. I think that we could have I've dropped 2 super chats. Piper says, I have failed you, Tim. He has failed you. Yeah, T-Shroom, listen, no nonsense, and you're failing me already. We're going to go look at the super chats here in a second. Either way, we are seeing some bullish nature on these really shorter time frames coming in here. Hourly chart. Watch for potentially maybe a little bit of bullish action on H bar over the next couple of hours, rest of the day. Go ahead and go to Brocam here real quickly, T-Shroom, so we can get back in here and look at some super chats because we always like to read our super chats. Okay, so I'm going to read the first one first, though, because I think yesterday I didn't scroll back far enough. Chart Prime for 1 month for $1 ends today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, that's very good. I said that, though. I'm really glad because I saw it somewhere. I saw Piper, I think, mention it to somebody somewhere. So I'm glad I saw that because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to make that announcement today. So make sure you guys go sign up for Chart Prime, test it out. $1. That also, one of the reasons why Chart Prime is the best indicator out there is because of the level of education that they give you guys. So definitely want to do that. Tim from Armin Piper again says, Tim, wait till you see the new MVP oscillator. You guys know I love my oscillators, so I cannot wait to see that either. Let's say Eric Wallen says Tim is the MVP. I'd say, wow, what a nice comment from Eric Wallen. You don't get those that often.
Not from me.
So you got to take it. Now, if Crypto Set Guy said that, then I'd probably quit the show because I believed that he'd been assassinated and someone was using his account to spread FUD. Would be my thought.
Yeah.
Crypto Trade said, I've been announcing this in Discord Playa. Well, Crypto Trades, maybe I saw yours too, but I definitely saw Piper's. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's get into T-Shroom. Let's get into some of our community time here for the next couple of minutes, and then we'll break into some of these stories. Guys, continue to ask good questions in chat. T-Shroom, when he's doing his job, will see those questions. I'll see those questions. We will respond those as best as we can. Dustin Singer says it's really just an awesome indicator all the way around. I agree, Dustin, 100%. T-Shroom, what are some announcements that we got coming up here that the community needs to know about?
We got some announcements that look like this. I had ChatGPT kind of project what we might expect going forward. And 10,000 subscribers by September 2024. So that's not too far off. It's about a calendar year, give or take. And then by October of this year, they expect we'll get another 1,000. And this is just basic plot slope form here, guys. There's no kind of... I did not give ChatGPT access to our analytics or anything. This is just based off of how much we've grown on the dates that we started and the dates we are at now. So you guys can kind of gauge 100,000 subscribers by mid-2035. Oh, there's a range from August of...
that's FUD. That is very FUD. We're going to get to 100,000 well before 2035. I think that I think we could get to 100,000 subscribers by like 2025. I think we could end the bull market over 100K for sure.
Let me know in the chat if you guys remember plot slope form, or if you're an engineer and you use it more often than not. But probably it's embedded in some calculator you use, because why would you be doing actual plot slope form? Do you remember plot slope form, Tim? Up there in Atlanta?
Nope, I don't. Well,
are you serious? It has
nothing to do with being in Atlanta. It's just been a long time since I've had to break out a math book and do any of this kind of stuff. So,
dude, plot slope is where it's at. Let me know in the chat if you agree.
Listen, you do you, boo-boo. Let's keep going on, though. Some other things, like I already mentioned earlier, but in case you guys are just joining, tomorrow T-Shroom is not going to be here. He is Fort Lauderdale. You said Fort Lauderdale, South Florida? Is that where you're going?
No, Sarasota. Goodness gracious.
All right, well, he's quitting the team. Piper will be joining me. We'll get, you know what, tomorrow, I'll be very excited. What we'll use part of tomorrow to do, because it's going to be pretty much a Piper show. I'm going to be interviewing Piper. We're going to get all of his thoughts and comments and everything that he's not been able to bring us in this morning show since he's been gone. But we'll get a full breakdown. We'll go through Chart Prime new things, and you guys will learn. I'll get to learn, and we'll continue to update our TA knowledge. But T-Shroom, let's go ahead and transition now into some of our stories here and start starting off with the biggest of them all. As the title suggests, there was a big XRP update, but it can be confusing. So we're going to break this down for you guys. T-Shim, do you have the tweet that I sent you from Eleanor about the actual law? Let's take a look at that. Let's read the first couple lines here, and let's break down what's happening with XRP.
All right. So this is breaking news, guys. The SEC has filed a letter of intent to request an interlocutory appeal to Judge Torres' July 13th summary judgment in the SEC versus Ripple case. So an interlocutory is essentially a stay on the outcome. Or I'm sorry, not a stay on the outcome. It's the intent to go in and challenge, to appeal. You know, it's a step before the appeal, which we don't necessarily need to know all of that. Essentially, they're going to appeal here. So then they're stating their intent of that. And then Reuters has some coverage of it. U.S. SEC seeks to appeal Ripple Labs crypto decision. And there's one quote in here I gotta definitely get in because it's kind of funny. But in a letter on Wednesday, the SEC asked the U.S. District Judge Torres in Manhattan to let a federal appeals court review her July 13th decision, in which she said the sale of Ripple's XRP digital tokens on public exchanges complied with federal securities law. But listen to this one. This one's good. It also said the outcome of an appeal had particular consequence for its ability to enforce securities law and for a large number of other lawsuits, said the SEC, which is basically a way to say, hey, Judge Torres, you might not know this, but there's this thing called precedent. And when you make decisions as a judge, it sets precedent. And this precedent that you've set is going to make our lives really hard. So we want to make sure that we make our lives easier rather than hard. So hopefully Judge Torres will hear that and be like, be gone with you, thought, and smack them down, and then they'll be gone.
You think that Judge Torres uses the word thought?
I think that she is a stone cold playa who's going to make it happen for the crypto bros.
Possibly. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you a quick rundown in case you guys are confused on details here. Some of them, T-Stream just covered there, but ultimately, they are not appealing that XRP is a security. The reason why, they wish they could. It is impossible. That detail is impossible for them to appeal. So they're doing another roundabout thing where they're trying to continue to delay and cause as much chaos as possible. And that is that they're going after the institutional side of it. So they can't stop you or me, and they cannot call you or me buying XRP a security anymore. That's at least for the next 2 years, according to John Deaton. But what they're going to do is try to go after the exchanges, in which case they can't stop the exchanges from selling XRP either. Best case scenario, what they're looking for is those exchanges to just pay some higher fines so the SEC can make some more money. Ultimately, this is a last-ditch effort because it's their only option. What they had is, as we're coming into this weekend, they had the option to do nothing and just accept it and lie down like a dog, or this was the only thing they absolutely could appeal. There's a lot of confusing language that goes into it, but after, last night I spent a lot of time researching the ins and outs of this. That's as simple as it is. There was only one move they could make this appeal, and best case scenario, they get some money from some of these exchanges. But here's the thing. Judge Torres can just say, no, I thought about this for 2 years. I literally for 2 years went through all the details, and I've come to the conclusion, and that's how it's going to be. So this is overwhelmingly a nothing burger, but the FUD of itself, the story of it, could cause some people some confusion. And let's take a quick look, T-Shroom, at the XRP chart this morning, because we are dipping. Now, the question is, was it the news story or was it the chart? Similar to Bitcoin, let's go out here to the 4-hour chart, and you guys are going to see something similar that we saw on Bitcoin, and that is, if it wants to pop up for me, was it the 1-hour chart? Might have been the 1-hour chart. We did get a reversal. Hey, we got a bullish reversal here this morning here as well. But you guys can see on the 1-hour chart, we had bearish divergence, peak seekers, overbought, RSI super high, money flow started curving to the downside. From the chart perspective, which doesn't care about the news, XRP had gotten a little overextended on that lower time frame here. Now, you guys also know, just like I had with Bitcoin, there's another level I'm watching. I'm still believing that XRP is going to be making its way down towards 55 cents. Right? If we get back above 73 cents. This is my T box up here. Again, we got to beat the peak we had back in July. Now I think there's an outside chance that XRP makes a run to $1. While I think you start to diminish the possibility of XRP going to 55 cents, it's still not impossible even if we hit $1 on XRP. But that is kind of our line in the sand right now. Clearly, guys, you can see when looking at the chart, we are setting lower highs and lower lows here on XRP. In fact, I don't know why I haven't drawn this yet. There clearly is some trend lines developing here. And we don't have that third touch in here. We're going to kind of have to treat that more like a zone, though. And let's take a look over here. We also kind of have a little bit of a falling wedge kind of developing here with XRP. Someone asked me yesterday, Tim, how do you draw these things? You got to kind of look for averages of touches. You don't necessarily cancel something out just because a wick breaks through or a candle body breaks through. You're looking for average of touches. This one kind of more acting like a zone rather than a straight line. Didn't quite make it up to the exact level we needed to, but it's still going to play out here more like a falling wedge. So what I'm kind of watching, guys, watch it potentially even rally back up, retouch this blue line, but now fall back down. I do think 55 cents is still in the cards. Even if we don't touch the blue line of support when we get there, watch somewhere in this region and come back down for support before finally, in reality, then getting a good bounce back to the upside. But again, we're watching a lot of things right now in the crypto space kind of still be in that bearish trend and wanting to be moving to the downside before we bounce and decide to go back to the upside. So that is the XRP news for the day. Again, big story yesterday. Go back to BroCam here, T-Shroom. Big story developing yesterday. A lot of people unsure of what it is, but that is what you need to know about XRP. Let's go ahead and transition T-Shroom into our next story, and that is, we had a couple stories here we want to talk about. Do we want to talk about bank first, or Base? Sorry, I don't want to say bank. Base first, or we want to talk about some Bitcoin ETF stuff?
I'd say we go ahead and get into the Coinbase launch. Yeah, it's exciting. Coinbase launches its own blockchain in first for a publicly listed company. That alone is pretty big, especially on the heels of PayPal releasing their stablecoin. But let's get into some of these fast facts brought to you by Yahoo Finance, which, by the way, I must say, I like this a lot. If you go on Yahoo Finance, they've got the ticker, and then they also identify what kind of pattern it's in. It doesn't say what time frame that's in, but that's pretty cool. Yahoo Finance, don't sleep on finance. Don't sleep on your gains. All right. Coinbase claims that the Base blockchain network will allow users to access over 100 decentralized applications. Wow. Base was created with a clear vision, bringing the next million builders and million users on chain, wrote Jesse Pollock, head of protocols for Coinbase, in a news release. This serves to accelerate a global decentralized financial system that will increase economic freedom around the world. Over 127.3 million worth of Ether had been bridged to the Base blockchain as of Thursday afternoon in Asia, according to blockchain analytics platform Dune. So people are already adopting the new platform quite rapidly. Tim, is this going to be the next big thing? And why doesn't this blockchain have a coin?
So I guess I missed the blockchain. What we're talking about Base here. What do you mean the blockchain? Which one? I missed that part.
Coinbase launches its own blockchain in first for a publicly listed company. Okay. I mean, maybe that's why they don't, because it's not the same.
Well, yeah, so first of all, they're developing this layer 2 because guess what, guys? The market's oversaturated with layer 1s. Layer 1s are dropping as we speak. Another piece of news kind of tied to this, Phantom layer 1, not a very good layer 1, is kind of calling it quits. They're going layer 2. They're going to be partnering, I believe, with Arbitrum, going under Arbitrum, but they're giving up because there's no purpose in having 157 layer 1s. In reality, 5 to 10 is a much more realistic expectation for layer 1s. Of course, Ethereum having the chokehold on that. Then you have other projects like Cardano, Solana, maybe they continue to make it. Guys, also, by the way, when it comes to Solana, I don't love everything about it, but I'm starting to sway a little bit more in the direction of saying Solana might not be a bad investment. Not going to say it's a decentralized coin, but I think it might not be that bad of an investment. I think there's an outside chance. I know even yesterday I said I'm kind of leaning towards them not saying new all-time high. I think there's a chance they do. They're kind of caught up to the price level of Cardano even after all that FTX stuff. I think Cardano will outpace them, but I think that Solana might actually end up hitting a new all-time high. Might be a coin I end up putting in my portfolio for this next bull market. But drawing back to Base, they didn't need to create a new layer 1. They have Coinbase backing it. They're going to be a layer 2. This is going to be a hot market, a hot bull market for layer 2s. Of course, that will benefit Ethereum. Of course, we're going to see projects like Cardano and other layer 1s go to the upside as well. But keep your eyes on things like Matic and Arbitrum, Base. Now, the problem with another layer 2 that had been kind of going well, and it's an ironic name, Optimism. Not that optimistic about Optimism. Base and Optimism have a lot of the same things going on, and unfortunately, Coinbase being probably is not the biggest exchange because Binance is, but Coinbase is quickly growing in its chase after Binance to be the number 1 exchange all across the world. It absolutely is the easiest one to get into. Put a 1 in chat if your first exchange was Coinbase. Their fees are not the best, but the understanding and ease of access is just up there. So when you have such a large brand and such a large amount of people using it, I think it gives it a slight advantage over Optimism. And I'm going to be a little pessimistic about Optimism moving forward. That's just me. You guys let me know in chat what you guys think. Gia S says she said 1, so Gia S came in on Coinbase. Brian D said James on Invest Answers did a thorough examination of Solana and gave it a thumbs up. Here's what I'll say. James from Invest Answers, very intelligent person. Don't read that though, Brian, and expect that was like this extremely unbiased take. He has been a Solana lover and a Cardano hater for a very long time. Now, to be fair, I have been more of a Cardano lover and a Solana hater, but I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm saying, hey, I'm not gonna just have a strong opinion and back it up even when I'm seeing evidence go the other way. I think I'm getting more bullish on Solana. But he's been known to support Solana no matter what. I don't see him as the most unbiased source. Now, that doesn't stop me from listening to him. I still want to hear what he has to say because that's really important to listen to people, even if you disagree with what they say or what they are doing. Just getting to hear opinions from other people is very valuable. With that said, though, Brian, I that doesn't mean a lot to me because that he's been a big supporter of Solana for a very, very long time, even after FTX. But he's still a smart guy. Eric Wallen put a 1 in chat. Crypto Mini Bites put a 1 in chat. Crypto Trades says 1. Bought XRP there. Crypto Trades, did you just buy XRP at Cardano? Like, how long ago did you get in that you bought XRP on Coinbase unless you just did it? Very interesting. Crypto Trades, you get into that tickle for a nickel, Tim?
I like the sound of that.
I don't like the sound of that at all. I don't even know what that means. A tickle for a nickel. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my thought there. I think that Coinbase is making a good move here, T-Shroom, not trying for a layer 1 in oversaturated space. I think it's a great move.
Do you see what I'm saying about how, kind of like how Lightning Network doesn't have a coin, this Base, it's a layer 2, but there's a lot of layer 2s that have coins, right? Arbitrum, Polygon.
Again, you get into, but you're getting into a whole. I see what you're saying. You get into a whole mess there with coins as well. I think it is better for them to operate just as this system.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I think that's kind of a bigger deal. But and why? Because they're regulated by the SEC. That's what the Yahoo Finance headline is leading with. It's the first publicly listed company to launch its own blockchain. So that's That's, I mean, unless Yahoo Finance is completely getting it wrong and it's not a blockchain, but obviously it is. So,
yeah,
that's what a layer 2 is.
Going back to chat here, Melifel says, Tim, you could buy. Yeah, that's what I was asking, Melifel. I didn't know Crypto Trades had been in crypto that long. That's a throwback to go buy XRP. You go back. I think when I first got into crypto, I think you could have done it because I got in before the lawsuit, but XRP just wasn't hot on my radar when I first got into crypto. To be honest, I think I owned Bitcoin alone for probably about a year before I diversified into anything else. But good for you, Crypto Trades. Man, long
Which is
ride.
The way you should do it, by the way, Tim.
People who held XRP for a long time. You guys have been for a long ride, so I'm sure you guys are very excited about what the next little bit holds. Again, I still believe the XRP should be, it's really hard to predict it with certain ability, but should be the number 1 coin of this next bull market. Definitely something people should continue to look for levels to add to their bag. By the way, guys, you don't even necessarily, even though I think 55 cents is coming, and if you think 55 cents is coming, you should not be waiting for 55 cents to continue to add to your XRP bag. You should be adding, I mean, right now, 63 cents? It's a good level. There's a difference between good and perfect. I think that 55 cents borderline could be a perfect buy on XRP, might be the lowest we ever see it again. But I would say if you're just holding a big bag of cash waiting for 55 cents, I think that's a little foolish to not be buying anything right now, because there's always a chance. Even though, again, a lot of things are coming into conclusion that I think I'm going to be right, I'm still preparing myself. Just so you guys know, I always make investment decisions with the thought of, hey, if I'm right, I'm going to win big. But if I'm wrong, I'm still going to win a little. That's how I like to think about my investing. So that's, take that and do with it what you will. No financial advice. But T-Shroom, let's keep moving on here. And move in with, I know we have a clip to show, and this is really big about Bitcoin ETFs. Guys, I know we've been talking about them a lot, but there was a clip that surfaced on Twitter here. I don't know if it surfaced 2 days ago or last night, but I saw it, and I want to play it for you guys. It's about a 3-minute clip. We have time, though. It's 9:45. T-Shroom, you got the sound working? I want to watch this clip, and then we're going to break down what this means for Bitcoin, what this means for BlackRock, what this means for the ETFs in general. T-Shroom, go ahead and hit it.
On your screen?
Well, you have it on your screen. I sent it to you.
Okay. So that's an update. Let's take a look here, see if we can find it.
Oh, goodness. Yeah,
okay,
I sent you.
it.
It's in Discord.
I see
it's in Discord. Yeah.
All right.
This is
this is going to be...
Because this is...
Boom.
And all of a sudden, Larry showed up at the door. This is perfectly timed because Novogratz has been the pinata of Bitcoin when it goes down. It's been the genius of Bitcoin when it goes up. And all of a sudden, Larry showed up at the door to say, hey, big, respectable firms can prosecute and do Bitcoin. Link Lawrence Fink of BlackRock to Mike Novogratz.
Well, what's happened is people, as you suggest, make fun of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but now the establishment, Larry Fink at BlackRock, is now saying they're going to have an ETF, if approved by the government, in Bitcoin. So you're saying, wait a second, if the mighty BlackRock is willing to have an ETF in Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin's going to be around for a while.
Lisa wants to jump in here, but I'm going to cut to the news moment. Is Carlyle announcing this morning a Bitcoin advocacy?
No, I don't think so. But there's no doubt that Bitcoin is something that I wish I had bought it at $100 a Bitcoin when Mike Novogratz started buying it. It's now at $29,000. So he's made a lot of money. And a lot of people who bought it at the $100 or less are feeling pretty good. Now, it went up as high as 61,000, I think. Even down to 31,000 or even 29,000 now is still pretty good profit if you bought it at 100.
We all wish we would have bought it at 100 and to ride it up.
Pause right there. T-Shirt pause.
Come up with an ETF because they believe in the proposition
of
Bitcoin. It's another because.
There you go. Pause. Well, I'm going to keep playing it, but some very obvious statements so far. We all wish we could have bought it at $100. We're going to break this down even further. Just so you guys know, the reason this is significant, even though there's been a lot of very weird statements. First of all, it went to 69,000, just in case anyone's watching and didn't know what the actual top of Bitcoin is. Of course, we'd all want to buy it at 100. This is a Bloomberg radio show. This is a podcast on Bloomberg that gets heard by millions of baby boomers and traditional investors. So just starting, even like, if anyone's wondering, why is this clip important? What's happening here is we have people who know nothing about crypto, but now that BlackRock is getting invested, they're learning more about it, and they're starting to warm themselves up to the concept of investing with obvious statements like, oh, I wish I could have gotten it at $100. But yeah, I wanted to say the sentence there. Let's get back into it because there's some more interesting details happening. Play the rest of that clip, T-Shirt.
Okay.
Because they see a profitability proposition where they can, basically take advantage of the interests that other people have. I mean, isn't that more of what this is? That basically Wall Street is saying, if there is a market for it and we can viably make one for them and make some money, why not?
Well, remember, Wall Street is in business to make money, and this is something they can probably make money of. You have to remember, the United States government has been somewhat skeptical of it. I think Democrats in the Congress, and particularly the people regulating the SEC, are skeptical of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But outside the United States, there's a lot of interest in it. I think FTX really hurt when it went bankrupt, and it hurt the crypto industry. But a lot of people around the world want to be able to trade in a currency that their government can't know what they have, and they want to be able to move it around, rightly or wrongly. And so I don't think Bitcoin is going away. I think the Republicans on Capitol Hill have been pretty supportive of it.
There's a difference between having a seamless cross-currency payment, basically saying that instead of going to Western Union, I can go and just transfer something in Bitcoin if it has a stable enough price. That's one proposition. But the proposition of Bitcoin as a store of value that could kind of be bid up the way that gold or silver could seems to have been parked with the advent of yield suddenly that you can get for actual money. I mean, isn't that sort of the feeling that you're getting?
Well, there's no doubt that when interest rates are as high as they are, you don't need to have gold or other kinds of things to get you some solid return, because when you get 5% on treasuries, but eventually 5% will be coming down at some point. I don't think Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies that are the better ones, the better known ones, Bitcoin and so a number of others, are going to go away. There's enormous interest around the world in being able to have something you can transfer without the government knowing about it and keep it private. And you can say people shouldn't do that, but that's not going to stop people from doing it.
Mr. Novogratz on Mr. Gensler. What did he say about the efforts of our chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission?
Well, Gary Gensler, who's the chairman of the SEC, is not a big fan of cryptocurrency. I think that's fair to say. But he lost a major case recently in court where he was trying to argue that one of the cryptocurrencies, Ripple, was a security, and he lost that case. So I think the SEC has not been able to convince at least the government yet, or at least the courts, that cryptocurrency is such a dangerous thing. And I remember a lot of people in the government now are thinking that Gary Gensler won't be the chairman of the SEC forever.
That's where I wanted to go. I mean, these guys just wait him out, right?
I think that's a strategy that's very popular in Washington, waiting out regulators you don't like.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more. Okay. A lot of basic talk here, a lot of things that we do know, some miscalculations and misinformation here, but here's the moral of the story, as I kind of suggested a second ago. This is what baby boomers listen to. This is who they listen to get financial advice. You know that statement, at first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then what happens, T-Shroom? What do they do after that?
Then they join you.
And they join you. Guys, we are witnessing the beginnings of the joining movement. I still think, with all this that will come in, manipulation will still play a part. So anyone who's listening to this and saying, does this mean 500,000 this next bull market? Does this mean we're going to 1 million? No. With all this new money will come a whole new level of manipulation and FUD and FOMO. Oh, there we go. More sound. But the bullish thing here that people need to understand is that this is the kind of things that will develop into, past Thanksgiving meals. I don't know about the rest of you, how long you've been in crypto, but do you guys get those Thanksgiving conversations with family members? How's Bitcoin going? Still holding? You want to sell? This Thanksgiving, we're going to get questions of, so how do I go about purchasing some of this Bitcoin and getting
my mom
some of
asked
it
me
into
the
my
other day.
portfolio? Really?
Yeah. The same mom who's in the chat quite a bit. She was like, we were at BJ's just chowing down on some wings, and she goes, I think I want to buy some Bitcoin. And I said, yes.
Is that what your mom sounds like? We haven't gotten to hear your mom.
Yeah. No, she was in a bro time one day. But it's been a while. There's been many requests for her to come back into a bro time, but your point is true. The boomers want Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big thing. Again, remember, we just got the news here a couple days ago, kind of confirmation that we're definitely getting an ETF. It is going to happen, more than likely 4 to 6 months out. This is where the difference of opinion comes in. I talked about this yesterday. Tisha, I wonder what you think about this, but not everyone agrees with me. I believe we're going to see something similar to gold ETF, where you didn't see explosive price action immediately. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to sink in, because with a Bitcoin ETF comes both long and shorts. I still believe we're going to get a launch somewhere between December and February of later this year to early 2024, and then you're still going to see a little bit of a delay before explosive price action happens next summer. T-Shroom, do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you think that Bitcoin can explode the day we get the official launch of an ETF, or will it take time?
Yes, I think there'll be a measured explosion. I definitely don't think we go back to all-time highs, but I think because you have to think about this psychologically. Just because there's a bunch of baby boomer money that wants to get into Bitcoin doesn't mean that the headline spot ETF passed is going to translate as I can now buy Bitcoin. you know, there's going to take some time, because if you go just talk to anybody, people don't know what an ETF is. The average person, like a welder or a plumber, even a lawyer, right? A doctor, they don't. If you're not into investing, you may never have considered the benefits of an ETF, right? You just, I'm going to buy Microsoft, and I'm going to buy Apple, and I'm going to buy Wells Fargo, whatever. That's what I want to do. So it's going to take some time. Now, the people who are running 401ks obviously know what an ETF is, right? But it's not until they think they can get gains for their clients that they're going to diversify into that for them. They're certainly not going to just do that for them, because it's a very high risk asset in their eyes. So it's going to take some time, but once you start to see movement on Bitcoin, and higher level analysts like the folks we just heard from start to look at Bitcoin on its rise through the halving event, that's when I think you have a lot more fiduciary folks coming in and on behalf of their clientele recommending and say, hey, this Bitcoin ETF, it's 1-to-1, it's not a futures contract. You know, you're actually getting the Bitcoin exposure through this ETF, and then they're going to make those recommendations, and that's when I start to see the explosion, because all that boomer money unlocked. And then you could also potentially see the same thing over at what Fidelity has done too. Just as that cascades, and like, you know, people are calling each other, boomers are calling each other. It's not just boomers, guys, but for the most part, it kind of is, because they are the ones in the entire world that have the most amount of wealth as a generation per nation. So it's pretty crazy too how much it is. I can't remember the number off my top of my head, but that number unlocked could be very, very explosive for any asset.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think another important thing about that video, they talk about the fact that there's a desire, like this is Bloomberg talking about this. They're talking about the desire for people to not have to use banks, and they can use money to not let the government know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Again, that's the whole concept of decentralization. To me, why is that so important is because what has been one of the biggest flags about Bitcoin to some people is they're convinced that it's used for criminal activity. They're convinced that's what it is. Now, we all know here in the crypto space, that's the dumbest thing to do, because that transaction actually is tracked. It's very easy to catch a criminal transacting in cryptocurrency. Maybe not like Monero, like a privacy coin, but Bitcoin, if you're a criminal doing work in Bitcoin,
Doing
pretty
crime.
dumb criminal, use cash. Cash is the best way to do it, and that's what they do. But the concept here, what they're breaking down, is they know that that's a possibility, and yet they're still saying, hey, it's people are gonna want to do it, so why not make money off of it? They're not going to become believers in decentralized finance. They're not going to become believers in the whole concept of crypto taking over the world. What they'll become believers in is, hey, I have some money, and I can make that money into a lot more money, because there's all these crypto people who are going to use it for who knows what, and I'm just going to profit off of them. That's what old money does as well, very much so. So big story, big video. Again, I was very excited to see that, and you know, let me know in chat what your guys' thoughts are about those videos, about that video, and also about the ETF. Does it come with an immediate bullish price action, or do we get a little bit of a delay?
You know, the other thing that would, and I know this is not scheduled programming here, but another thing that would
any
unlock
of this scheduled programming, I feel like we just go at it.
The other thing that would unlock the boomers is one of their number one concerns is like this concept that Bitcoin or crypto is a one world currency that's like prophesied by maybe the Bible or other prophets that have come through time. I think if we could help in the same way that now they could physically actually go and purchase Bitcoin through a spot ETF without breaking whatever laws they think they're going to break, and their fiduciary, giving it the green light, is if we could break that narrative as well and show, no, it's actually CBDCs. It's actually what the dollar has become under a more corrupt and inefficient government. That's what the one world currency is. If there ever was a world one currency, I mean, you could probably go back to the Romans or the Greeks and see more like higher percentage of use of currency. But the dollar is definitely, if there ever was one or is going to be one, it's definitely the dollar or the CBDC version of the dollar. So I think that's an important narrative to proliferate as well, to have that boomer adoption instead of just just waiting for them all to pass on their dollars to the next generation, which that's not going to be good, because miners do need to have that price come up in order for it to be profitable to mine. So that is definitely a narrative that needs to be eroded.
Yeah.
Unless we find out it's true, but I don't obviously think that's the case.
We got 1 minute here. Let's engage with chat for just a second. GS says, my 70-year-old sister is still interested and asked me about crypto. She's not in it yet, but wants to. Come on, keep orange pilling, Gia. Kid, come on, which is co-MN, we know. I'm originally from the upper Midwest. People there barely know what a mutual fund is. Put your money in a saving. I think he meant put your money in a savings account or in safe, Sunny. Honestly, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. My dad and my mom's from Virginia, but my dad is the one who kind of did money stuff in our family. His family's from the Midwest. Yeah, I was taught from a very young age, just put your money in savings. Just put your money in savings. Just put your money in savings. I had no knowledge of investing practices whatsoever until here a couple of years ago when I got into Bitcoin, and now I'm learning more and more about it. So, I mean, I think I just can't say how much, if you're invested in crypto right now, especially if you're watching crypto content right now on YouTube, it takes a special kind of a person to tune in and day out with prices still being down relatively, with news. We had a good news day today, but there's been some days here recently where there's just not a lot happening. But the people that are digging in right now and continuing to learn and continuing to further their understanding of money in general and investing in general, man, I cannot speak loud enough about, if you stick with it and you just continue to learn and grow, you're gonna stand out amongst all of your peers when it comes to the future wealth proposition. And my hope, again, and I know T Shroom's hope, is that we are here as Investing Bros. As we get to 4,000 subscribers, just kind of reflecting on why we even started this channel in the first place. It was not to become multimillionaires and to just go buy yachts and cars and all this stuff. My goal with Investing Bros is not only me and T Shroom, but every single one of you guys who are subscribed, is that we get ourselves in a position financially where money is no longer a problem. We can do everything that we love to do, that we feel called to do, that we have dreams to do, and we lift up the people around us as well. Because, man, what a beautiful place this world could be if money was not a problem. I believe that's a problem that crypto can help solve, but it takes every single one of us doing the work, continuing to learn, continuing to educate others. And if that's something that you guys want to be a part of, man, you found the right channel, because that's what we're all about here at the Investing Bros, the most generous crypto community in the game. Guys, that's all we have for you today. Thank you again for getting us to 4,000 subscribers. Cannot wait to see 5,000. With that said, though, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.